Company here at the Newcastle Motordrome. We are here for stadium off-road racing, and the Novocastrians have literally filled this complex to capacity. Now, last week we showed you all of the sensational racing in the heats. This now is the class final. The sports trucks are making their way out onto the circuit for the business end of proceedings. Bob Stansfield joins us in central commentary, and Bob, what a terrific looking grid.
Yes, to get to the front row, it's the highest point scorer starting off the front row, and lowest point scorer of the rear.
The hard-charging American Jerry Welshel comes out of grid position 7. Just how well will he handle the traffic, we'll soon see. Mendham gets a good start, so too does Mark Mann. You can see Attard on the outside. That's not the position to be in. Here's Gavin Mickle in car number 7, being hotly pursued by Richard Bennett in the awesome Chevy. Bennett's got a very good start. You can see just how much damage that vehicle has scored earlier in the evening. Oh, these two are coming together. Into a slide goes Mickle. The two of them, Bennett and Mickle. Mickle's going to sustain some real damage from that lot. You can see there towards the rear of the vehicle. Bennett very smartly backs out of that one. Gives him a little tap for good measure. Let's have a look at the replay, Bob.
Yeah, well, it starts right there, and Bennett gets into the side, Mickle gets a little sideways, and unfortunately it's a left-hand drive car, the Mazda, and no damage done.
Well, this is a restart scenario. You can see Richard Bennett gesticulating with some of the officials. He has been forced rear of field. Mendham will come from pole again. Will he get a good run? It looks as though he has. Mark Manson's on the outside. It's a drag race between these two down the front straight. Bennett's made a very good start. There's a little Renault in there, Bob, a nicely prepared local car, and he's trying to get up the inside of Mickle. I don't think that's going to work through. It's Mendham from Mans. Mans on the inside now as they go down into the bottom corner for the first time.
Well, Mendham's just blown a feedlock clean off the tyre, and that's put him out of the event. And that's James Corbett in little V6 Renault engine Renault.
Did you see Welshel get up on two wheels there? Then this is the unfortunate Renault just in the way of everyone at the moment, including Attard and Welshel. Welshel now starting to fight his way through the field. There's Bennett making his way across the infield. Here's Welshel. You can see some of the damage these cars have already sustained. Mans is your leader from Gavin Mickle in the turbocharged Mazda. Then it's Bennett, and then we go back to the American, Jerry Welshel.
Yeah, Welshel certainly putting some work in on Richard Bennett's big Chevy. He's not used to competing with cars this size. In America, in the stadium events, they're all the mid to small size pickups. So Richard's got himself a full-size trophy truck there, which would be like a block of plastic at past.
Mark Mann's the very talented Holden Rodeo driver. He's already starting to assert his position on this field. Out in front, there's Bennett shutting the door very smartly on Welshel. Welshel moves to the outside as they go into the top turn. There's Attard in the little Dodge. Make their way down the front straight again. These two are running neck and neck. It is Welshel and Bennett. Bennett's got the bigger machine. He's going to try and shut the door on him. He simply does exactly that. They go down into the bottom corner. Up onto two wheels goes Bennett. Welshel tries to sneak around the outside of him as they go through the infield. Bennett again shuts the door. His car is just simply too big for Welshel to get around.
Yeah, well, Welshel's giving him a little love tap, and it's allowed Attard to get back up into the picture, and that's a very quick car, that American Dodge of Wayne Attard.
Don't write off Welshel at this particular stage. He is trying absolutely everything to try and get around him. Neville Taylor here in the Baja Volkswagen, again showing a good, consistent approach. Here's Welshel. He's in front of Bennett now as they come down the front straight. His car's slowing dramatically. There's something wrong with the Rodeo. You can see him signalling there. Now, he has had problems. It's literally got the Holden Rodeo crew baffled. He's broken 3 drive belts throughout the course of the evening, and I suggest, Bob, that's what's happened again.
Yeah, it's both these cars, the Holden Rodeos are supercharged, and there seems to be maybe an alignment problem with the lower belts. And it's the third one, as you said, he's spat off tonight.
Mark Mans is your leader at this stage. He's got a big lead between himself and Gavin Mickle. Mans is really not slowing down. He is the consummate professional. Again, we see the awesome sparks coming from the back of the Holden Rodeo. He makes his way through the stutter jumps on the infield. Turns nice and hard left, gets a lot of power opposite lock-on. You can see some of the fenders coming adrift on that car, but that's not hurting him at all, Bob.
No, very lightweight panels on these. They're almost sacrificial, a quick touch, and they're off. They come with several sets of panels to each race meeting, so there's no problem there. It'll be fresh when he restarts.
This is Gavin Mickle making his way through the infield, but this is the man the crowd have really come to love here at Newcastle tonight, the South Australian Richard Bennett, up onto 2 wheels as he comes around the track to tyre. He is really trying hard to bridge the gap between himself and second place. Look at how hard he's showing this Chevy as he comes across the jumps. Real suspension travel there. He takes a nice tight inside line. We are on the last lap for Mark Mans in the Holden Rodeo. Through the infield he comes very, very smartly. Now this position in the circuit, he would be able to see the gap between himself and Gavin Mickle. And at this late stage, he's not going to do anything to blow this win. What a terrific drive from Mark Mans in the Holden Rodeo. Down the main straight he comes in front of the Newcastle crowd. A fantastic drive, and up and over the jumps to grab the checkered flag. What a tremendous result for him.
Yes, a very dedicated team, the Isuzu Holden Rodeo, all the way from Melbourne, and proof is in the pudding. Another big win.
Well, this is the battle going on for second place. It's going to go right down to the wire. Mickle's going to try and hold it. Indeed, he does. Bennett grabs third, and in fourth place, the dodge of Wayne Attard. The crowd here at Newcastle are literally on their feet. They are loving this stadium off-road racing, and this is a good example of exactly why. This is Welshel desperately trying to get around Richard Bennett, but Bennett shuts the door once again and gets the car up onto two wheels into the bargain. Well, that wraps it up for the class final of the sports trucks, but it's not over yet. Still to come, the reverse grid feature final with Manns, Mickle, Bennett and Mendham coming from rear of field in the biggest money race of the night. All of that action coming your way very shortly. Welcome back to Newcastle for the feature final of the sports trucks. The cars are now making their way out onto the circuit, and this augurs to be an absolutely sensational race. The fastest starting last. That means Jerry Welshel is coming from the outside of the front row, and Mark Manns and Gavin Mickle from the rear. Who will be the fastest? Well, that remains to be seen. We're just about ready for a start. Who will get the best of it? The Renault, of course, is on the inside. They get away very, very smartly. Welshel's got the best of it. Bennett's on the outside trying to fight his way through. Here comes Mendham. He's really proven himself here tonight, driving in both the buggies and in the sports trucks. The question is, can his stamina hold out? Bennett's fighting his way through the middle of the pack in the big Chevy. Welshel, though, running away with it at this early stage.
Yeah, Welshel's got it in the bag. He's had such a rotten run of luck tonight. He's been lucky enough to start off in the front row in the feature race.
Well, we've had a bit of a coming together at the bottom turn here. That was Mark Manns, can you believe it, who's been turned around. Mickle was involved in that also. So Manns now will have to try and back out of that one. Look at the gap Welshel's already got. There's the Renault. There's Mendham and Bennett coming through the middle of the pack. I'll tell you what, I would not like to be in Bennett's way as they come down the front straight again.
Yes, the Renault is starting to look a little bit ragged around the edges. It's had a roll over tonight and a couple of hits, but he's still up there leading a very expensive pack of cars at the moment.
Well, Mendham didn't have a good run in the class final. His tyres coming to a bit of damage. Here's Welshel. Welshel looks to me like he's slowing. That doesn't look good for that particular Holden Rodeo. I think he may have some sort of problem again. He's not getting a lot of air over that jump, and you can see the gap going back to second place is really starting to close up. Bennett now on a big charge. Gee, that's bad luck for Jerry Welshel. He's come all the way from the USA, and he's just had an unfortunately disastrous evening.
Yes, you can have nights like that, but James Corbett is the one in the hot seat at the moment, just gets out of the way in time to allow Bennett to go through in the big Chevy.
Well, Bennett's now into the lead, and I tell you what, he'd be pretty happy about that, because it's going to mean that the guys in behind him have got all the hard work to do. It is very hard to get around that awesome Chevy, let me tell you. James Corbett currently holding down second place, doing a good job of it, but I don't know that he's going to be able to hold it down for too long, because Mickle's in third, and hard charging is Wayne Attard already in the Dodge Dakota.
Yeah, top of the motor car, this Dodge Dakota, driven with great success in the States by Walker Evans, one of the legends in off-road racing in America, and well driven, third time out with this motor car is Wayne Attard, and he's certainly learning the ropes of stadium racing.
Certainly is. Just moved himself one further forward. He's now on the outside of Corbett as they make their way through the infield. I think Corbett's going to have a tough time trying to keep Wayne Attard at bay. Here comes Bennett. He is just driving this Chevy on the throttle. Listen to it as it comes around the circuit. The Novocastrians are literally on their feet. They love the sound of this big, awesome V8. Now here is Mark Manns. He is on a very big charge indeed. He's had to fight his way back from the rear of field after that earlier incident, but he is really starting to carve them up as he tries to fight his way through the front. Coming up on the back of Gavin Mickle now. Mickle in the turbocharged Mazda holding the inside line. That's probably the best place to be. Now Manns is moving to the outside of him. Mickle shuts the door very smartly. These two, look at them, they're touching fenders as they make their way through the infield. Look at the air that Manns is getting up onto two wheels. He is one very determined competitor.
Yeah, he's making the most of, both these cars are making the most of 500 millimetres of suspension travel, and they're using every one of them at the moment.
All right, well, Manns now trying to dive up again on the inside as they come down the main straight. He's getting good traction though. You can see just how hard he's working in the cockpit. Mickle, to his credit though, is not letting him get by very easily. Mickle on the outside now. Manns on the inside. Manns really leaning on him as they come into the bottom corner. That's forced Mickle wide up and over the jumps. They come. Oh, Manns has taken it too tightly. He's clipped the berm and rolled the Holden Rodeo over. This is really bad luck for him. Gee, he was driving so hard. He's a real determined competitor, Mark Manns. Now let's take a closer look at the replay and see what happened.
Yeah, Manns cuts in across the front of Gavin Mickle here and turns it a little bit too tight and touches the berm with the right-hand front wheel, and it's he's already halfway over in normal circumstances, and the berm just finishes the job off very nicely. Normally you can turn into the roll. The steering on these cars is so quick, but he just got caught unawares and over he goes.
Good to see Mark Manns out of the car and A-OK. He's just having a bit of a look at the Rodeo, surveying it for damage. It appears to be A-OK, and the good news is that he's joining this single file restart. Bennett is off the front row. Sitting in behind him is Attard. Attard got the traction down very smartly. Attard's on the outside. They make their way down the front straight with just on 2 laps left to go. Mickle sits back in third. Then it's Corbett on the outside of Corbett is Neville Taylor in the VW Badger.
Yes, 2 laps to go. It looks like Bennett's got into the bag, but he's certainly got the baying hounds behind it, so I wouldn't put the glasses down yet.
All right, let's keep an eye on him as they come through the midfield. Mickle doing a nice job in the turbocharged Mazda right on the back of Wayne Attard. Attard takes a nice tight line as they make their way through the centre of this field. Bennett's got the big Chevy, and Attard's really got all the work to do to try and get around him. Here comes Mark Manns. That car is back on song, and good to hear that it is. Down the main straight they come, and Bennett, well, with 1 lap left to go, can he hang on to it? That's the question. Look how hard Attard is working in the cockpit. You can see him there. He's got the eyes on. He's looking very, very determined. But equally as determined as Richard Bennett. He wants his first feature final for his regime. He's going to work very, very hard to get it. Here comes Attard on the tight inside line. Bennett's running a little bit wide. Gets the power down very smartly. Through the infield they come. Have a look at Wayne Attard. Really on a charge now. The two of them make their way across the infield. Mickle, I think, had to settle for second place. Oh, up the inside comes Attard. The two of them have a bit of a touch. Bennett's on the outside. He's got the big awesome Chevy, but Attard's got the eyes on. Down the main straight they come, up and over the jump. Attard takes the win on the line. Can you believe that? Richard Bennett gets second, Mickle gets third, and Mark Manns, a very credible drive into 4th place.
Yeah, most unlucky for Bennett. He got shoved a little bit wide by Attard there, and as he squared the corner off, he was pointing at the big tyre berm there and had no choice but to get out of it.
What a fantastic drive from Wayne Attard. We can only take our hats off to him. This is only his 3rd drive in the Dodge Dakota, and a terrific result for his team. Well, commiserations to Richard Bennett, but no doubt he'll live to fight another day. That wraps it up from the Yokohama Holden Rodeo Stadium Off-Road Grand Prix. It's been a tremendous night here at Newcastle. Don't forget to put Saturday night, May the 18th in your diary, because that's when Stadium Off-Road Racing comes to Parramatta City Raceway. And once again, the Speedweek team will be there to bring you all the action. Until then, on behalf of Bob Stansfield, trust you've enjoyed all the racing, and it's good night from Newcastle International Motordrome.